We will now continue with our study of rational expressions by discussing complex fractions. Can you make a guess? What is a complex fraction? A complex fraction has the numerator a fraction and the denominator also is a fraction. So, a complex fraction is a fraction where the numerator and denominator both are fractions themselves. Now, therefore, what will you do to simplify a complex fraction? First, add or subtract the numerator and denominator separately and simplify. And then inverse the denominator and multiply. Well, let me show you what that is. Look at this. A over B all over C over D. This is a complex fraction. The numerator is a fraction, A over B. The denominator is a fraction, also C over D. Now, this can actually be written in the familiar form. Now, watch me do this now. This is actually the same as A over B divided by C over D. Now, writing this way and writing this way are exactly the same thing. Now, you are familiar with this. Change the division to a multiplication and invert the divisor. So, this is the dividend and this is the divisor. When you write it like this is the dividend and this is the divisor. So, what do you do to simplify a complex fraction like this? What all you need to do is invert the divisor and multiply. Okay, let's practice some problems. So, A over B divided by C over D can now be written as A over B multiplied by the reciprocal of the denominator is D over C. Alright, so what is the first thing to do? Make the numerator a simple fraction like this. In other words, if there are more than one term on the numerator, you need to add them together and make it one term. The numerator must be a single term and the denominator also must be a single term, and then invert the denominator and multiply. That's what we're going to do. Alright, let's look at this example. Simplify 10x squared y to the 4 divided by 3z cubed, and that is the numerator, all over 5xy divided by 9z to the power of 5. Now, the numerator is a simple fraction. The denominator also is a simple fraction. That means we invert the denominator and multiply. Alright, so what does that become? We will first write the numerator fraction. There you are. This is the numerator fraction multiplied by, invert the denominator. 9z to the power of 5 goes to the numerator and 5xy on the denominator. Well, now you know how to handle this. Multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. Now, how do we multiply the numerators? Look at this. 10 multiplied by 9 times x squared times y to the 4 times z to the power of 5 all over 3 multiplied by 5 times xy times z cubed. Well, we now have to cancel common factors. To make it easier to do that, we factor this 10 and the 9 on the numerator. Alright, 10 can be factored as 5 times 2. 9 can be factored as 3 times 3. Okay, and now identify there is a term in x on the numerator, a term in x on the denominator. Align them so that we can use the quotient rule to simplify that. Y to the power of 4 on the numerator, y to the power of 1 on the denominator, z to the power of 5 on the numerator, and z to the power of 3 on the denominator. Also, you have 3 times 5. Now look at the way I wrote the variables, one below the other, the like terms, the like factors. Now when you write it like this, it will be much easier to simplify. Alright, what is the next step? We cancel common factors and then use the quotient rule to simplify each of these variable terms. 3 goes with 3 on the numerator. The 5 goes with the 5 on the numerator. Now, so for numbers, 2 times 3, 6 on the numerator, and there are no numbers on the denominator, which means there is the 1. Alright, now what is x to the power of 2 divided by x to the power of 1? That will be, look at this, the numerator power is greater. That means the answer is going to stay on the numerator as x to the power 2 minus 1. And now, y to the power of 4 divided by y to the power of 1. Again, the numerator power is greater. Therefore, the answer is going to stay on the numerator as y to the power of 4 minus 1. And how about this? Z to the power of 5 divided by z to the power of 3. Again, the numerator power is greater than the denominator power. So the answer will stay on the numerator as z to the power of 5 minus 3. That means all the terms from the denominator disappear. So what is the denominator now? The denominator is 1. And what is the numerator? It will be 2 times 3 times x to the power of 2 minus 1, y to the power of 4 minus 1, z to the power of 5 minus 3. That is now the numerator, and the denominator is 1. We don't need to write it. Okay, now what is this equal to? That will be 6x y to the power of 3 z to the power of 2, and that is the answer. So when you go systematically like this, it becomes very, very easy. I hope you followed the various steps. Alright, do this one more time to make sure that you really understand it. Let's go and do another one. Simplify x plus 7 over y all over 1 plus x over y. Now, this is the numerator and this is the denominator. Now, the problem here is the numerator is not a simple fraction. It is the sum of two numbers, x plus 7 over y. Now, the only way we can simplify quantities like this is to reduce the numerator and denominator to simple fractions so that the numerator is a fraction with its numerator and denominator, and similarly the denominator also is a simple fraction with a numerator and denominator. What does that mean? We need to take this numerator and simplify it by using a common denominator. Similarly, we need to take this denominator and simplify it using a common denominator. Well, let's do that. So the numerator is x plus 7 over y and we need to take a common denominator. What is the common denominator there? This x is x over 1. I hope you understand that. Now, this will be x over 1 plus 7 over y. The common denominator is y. Alright? Now, how do we construct the numerator? I hope you remember the method. Now, the common denominator is y, and what is the factor from the common denominator that is missing here? Y. Y is missing there. That means this x will now be multiplied by y to right there. X times y. And this plus 7 will be multiplied by 1. Why the 1? Because from the LCD there is no factor missing in here. The LCD itself is that denominator. So multiply that 7 with 1. And that gives us xy plus 7 over y. Now, this denominator now will be written like this. You see, this is now a simple fraction. It has a numerator and a denominator. You understand the difference between this and this. Okay. In the same way, we must take this denominator and make it like this using a common denominator. Alright, what is the denominator? 1 plus x over y. And this 1 can be written as 1 over 1 plus x over y. What is the common denominator here? The common denominator is y. Alright, what is the factor that is missing here from the common denominator? It is y. Y is missing here. So the 1 on the top here will be multiplied by that missing factor. So that will be 1 multiplied by y plus. What is this x going to be multiplied by? By 1. Why? Because there is no factor missing on its denominator. The common denominator itself is this denominator. When there is no factor missing out of the LCD, the numerator will get multiplied by 1. So what is this equal to? This will be y plus x over y. Okay? So the numerator now is this quantity. So this numerator can be replaced by this, and this denominator will be replaced by this. We will do that in the next slide. Let's do that. So x plus 7 over y is xy plus 7 over y. We did that in the previous slide. Divided by, the denominator is y plus x all over y. You see, now the numerator is a simple fraction. The denominator is a simple fraction. What do? We can now invert the denominator and multiply. So that will be, write down the numerator first, and then put a multiplication sign and write this in the inverted form. So that will be multiplied by y over y plus x. Okay. Once you do that, you can now cancel common factors. Y on the denominator goes with y on the numerator, leaving us with xy plus 7 on the numerator and y plus x on the denominator. So the answer is xy plus 7 over y plus x. Okay, I hope you understand that. Very important concept. Let's go and do another one. Simplify a squared over b minus b all over b squared over a minus a. Now, Is this numerator a simple fraction? No, it is not. It is the difference between two numbers. We need to reduce that into a simple fraction. How? By taking the common denominator. Similarly, we need to reduce the denominator to a simple fraction by taking a common denominator. Alright, let's do that by taking one at a time. We simplify the numerator first. A squared over b minus b. Can you simplify that by taking a common denominator? Well, I'm going to write this as a squared over b minus b over 1. Okay, now what is the common denominator? The common denominator is 1 times b, which is b. Alright, so the common denominator is b. How do we construct our numerator? Okay, what does this a squared get multiplied by? The LCD is b. This denominator also is b. That means no factor from the LCD is missing here. So what will a squared be multiplied by? A squared will be multiplied by 1. So that is a squared times 1. Now what is this minus b getting multiplied by? If you look at its denominator is just a 1. It is missing this factor b. Therefore, this minus b will be multiplied by that missing factor, which is b. Okay, I hope this is now very, very clear and you are thorough with this concept. What is my numerator now? A squared minus b squared. So my numerator now is a squared minus b squared all over b. Okay, so this quantity will be replaced by this quantity. Let's do the same thing with the denominator. Simplify the denominator by taking the common denominator. Well, can you do that on your own? Can you write these steps on your own? Try and do that. Okay? You can turn off the video for a second. Do this on your own. Take the LCD. What is the LCD? First of all, write this as b squared over a minus a over 1. The LCD is a. Okay? Now, what does b squared get multiplied by? Its denominator is not missing any factor from the LCD. So the LCD is this denominator, no factor missing. That means b squared will be multiplied by 1. Alright, what is this minus a getting multiplied by? Its denominator is missing the a from the LCD. That means this minus a will be multiplied by a. So b squared times 1 minus a times a is our numerator. Okay, so that will be b squared minus a squared all over a. Okay, in our next slide, we will replace this numerator by this quantity a squared minus b squared over b. And we will replace this denominator by this quantity b squared minus a squared over a. Let's go and do that. So, tell me, what is this quantity going to be replaced by? You can actually do it right here. A squared minus b times b, b squared over b. There you are. A squared minus b squared over b. Now, divide that by, divided by. What is this going to be replaced by? Can you do that right here? b squared minus a times a is a squared. B squared minus a squared all over a. Alright, now the numerator is a simple fraction. The denominator also is a simple fraction. We are now ready to invert the denominator and multiply. So write the numerator first, a squared minus b squared divided by b, and multiply this with the reciprocal of this. That will be multiplied by a over b squared minus a squared. This must be a multiplication sign. I don't know why my computer gave me that sign. Sometimes it acts very weird, right? Okay, that is supposed to be a multiplication sign. So, multiplied by the numerator multiplied by the reciprocal of the denominator. Okay, now, can you see something that you can do there to simplify? Well, now this will be a squared minus b squared over b multiplied by, watch here, there is an a squared minus b squared on the numerator, a b squared minus a squared on the denominator. Can you write this b squared minus a squared using a squared minus b squared? Now, do you remember we did some time ago, even in the last class, that a minus b is the same as negative of b minus a. Is that right? Now, get those skills understood very well. A minus b is the same as negative of b minus a. You see, 5 minus 2 is negative of 2 minus 5. Therefore, b squared minus a squared can be written as negative of a squared minus b squared. Isn't that possible? Yes. This b squared minus a squared can now be written as negative of a squared minus b squared. So that's what we're going to do here. A squared minus b squared over b multiplied by, this is now going to become a divided by negative of a squared minus b squared. And now you notice a squared minus b squared will cancel with a squared minus b squared on the numerator. And what is our answer? Our numerator now is an a, and the denominator is b times, there is a negative 1 left here. You see the negative sign? That is a negative 1. So the numerator now is a, and the denominator is negative b. So that will be a over negative b. Well, the numerator is positive, the denominator is negative. That will make the whole fraction negative. So we will write the answer as negative a over b is the answer. Alright? I hope you liked the way we did this. And I hope you can do one like this on your own. Okay? Let's try another one. Simplify x squared minus y squared all over x, that is the numerator, divided by x plus y over x cubed. Now if you look at this, the numerator is a simple fraction. You see, that numerator has a numerator and a common denominator. It's a simple fraction. Similarly, the denominator also is a simple fraction. So we can start by let's take the numerator and see if you can simplify it. Well, x squared minus y squared. Can you factor x squared minus y squared? Yes, x squared minus y squared is the difference of two squares. I can factor it as x plus y times x minus y. So the numerator is x plus y times x minus y all over x. This is a simple fraction. And now, the denominator of course is x plus y over x cubed. And now, therefore, this is the numerator and this is the denominator. Let's write it that way. So, what do? Take the numerator and multiply it with the inverse of the denominator. So, we write the numerator x plus y times x minus y over x. That is this numerator. Multiply that with the inverse of the denominator. So that will be multiplied by x cubed over x plus y. Can you simplify this? Now, you can see x plus y and x plus y are common. And look at the way I rewrote the x cubed to make it easy for us to simplify. X cubed I wrote as x times x squared. Why? Because I saw an x on the denominator. This x and that x will cancel. X plus y and x plus y will cancel. Alright, let's do that. X plus y cancels with x plus y. That x will cancel with this x. What is left on the numerator? On the numerator you have x squared times x minus y. And what is the denominator? The denominator is just a 1. So the answer is x squared times x minus y. Okay? Again, remember this is a multiplication. It is not a rectangle. Okay, let's do another one. A to the power of negative 1 plus b to the power of negative 1. Now that is my numerator. All over 4 over ab. Now, if you notice the numerator, what is a to the power of negative 1? How many of you remember the meaning of a negative power? A to the power of negative 1. Remember, any number raised to the power of negative 1 is the same as its reciprocal. A to the power of negative 1 is the same as 1 over a. B to the power of negative 1 is the same as 1 over b. Is that right? X to the power of negative 1 is the same as 1 over x. I hope you remember this. Well, we need to use this now to simplify our numerator. The numerator is not a simple fraction, so you need to first simplify it. But look at the denominator. Denominator is a simple fraction. Alright, let's take the numerator and use this concept and simplify it. The numerator is a to the power of negative 1 plus b to the power of negative 1. And that is 1 over a plus 1 over b. Alright, now you can simplify this by taking a common denominator. What is the LCD of a and b? When there is nothing common, the LCD will be the product of the two factors. So the LCD here is a times b. Alright? Now help me make our numerator. To construct our numerator, you ask yourself, what will this 1 be multiplied by? The numerator of the first fraction. What will this 1 be multiplied by? this 1 will be multiplied by the factor that is missing from this denominator from the LCD. What is the factor of the LCD that is missing here? That is b. Multiply this 1 with that b, and plus this 1 will be multiplied by the factor that is missing on its denominator, and that is a. So that will be 1 multiplied by b plus 1 multiplied by a, and that will be a plus b all over ab. That is our numerator. You can see this is now a proper fraction. So the numerator a to the power of -1 plus b to the power of -1 will be now replaced by this simple fraction. Let's do that. So this is a plus b all over ab, that's the numerator, and the denominator is 4 over ab. Now how do we simplify this? First we take the numerator and then multiply that with the reciprocal of 4 over ab. That is multiplied by ab over 4. You can see here the computer did not mess up. It gave me the multiplication sign. So that will be a plus b over ab multiplied by the reciprocal of this is ab divided by 4. And now there is an ab on the numerator and ab on the denominator. They will cancel, giving us the simple answer a plus b on the numerator and 4 on the denominator. Okay, I hope you understand the basic concepts of complex fractions. So remember, the first thing to do to simplify complex fractions is simplify the numerator into a simple fraction, simplify the denominator into a simple fraction, and then multiply the numerator with the reciprocal of the denominator and cancel common factors and simplify. Well, that brings us to the end of Unit 5. You can see we are very fast approaching the end of the course. That means it is urgency on your side to make sure that everything we have done so far is in your head. And the only way to do that is to go back and periodically review everything. Alright? Now it is time for Unit Test 5. I hope you have been doing your quizzes well. Now look through the practice test. Do the questions in the practice test a couple of times so that you can understand all the steps. And then go and take the test. Alright? I will get back to you with Unit 6 later on.